What would you do if you knocked on a stranger's door and saw your mother's face staring back at you from their wall? That's exactly what happened to 9-year-old Emma. And what she discovered next changed 3 lives forever. Welcome to Voice of Granny. While you are here, please hit the subscribe button and comment your view on the story and where you are watching from. My friends, let me tell you a story that will touch your heart. It's about hope, love, and how one simple moment can change everything. Picture this. A hot summer day in Chicago. The sun is burning down on the sidewalks, and a little girl named Emma is walking slowly through a wealthy neighborhood. She's only 9 years old, but her shoulders carry a heavy weight. In her hands, she holds a plastic bag filled with apples. Fresh, red apples that she's trying to sell. Emma's feet hurt. She's been walking for hours. Her stomach is empty because she hasn't eaten since yesterday. But she doesn't complain. Not once. You see, every step she takes, every door she knocks on, it's all for her mama. Her mama, Sarah, is lying sick at home, too weak to work, needing medicine they cannot afford. So Emma walks. She knocks on big gates and fancy doors. Most people say no. Some don't even open the door. A few look at her with pity, but pity doesn't buy medicine. Still, Emma doesn't give up. Her mama always told her to be strong, to never stop trying. Then Emma sees it. The biggest gate she's ever seen in her life. Behind it stands a mansion so beautiful it looks like something from a dream. White walls, tall windows, flowers everywhere. For a moment, she just stands there staring. The house is beautiful, yes, but it also feels lonely. Too quiet. Too perfect. Like nobody really lives there. Emma takes a deep breath. She walks up to the gate and presses the button on the intercom. Her heart is beating fast. She waits. Seconds feel like hours. She's about to walk away when a deep voice comes through the speaker. Who is it? Emma clears her throat. Hello, sir. My name is Emma. I'm selling apples. Would you like to buy some? They're very fresh and sweet. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Emma shifts the bag from one tired hand to the other. Then the voice speaks again. How much? Hope lights up in Emma's chest. 5 apples for $2, sir. Or 10 for $3. Another pause. Then, wait there. Emma waits by the gate, her arms aching, her throat dry. She hasn't had water in hours. But if this man buys her apples, she can get Mama's medicine today. That thought keeps her standing strong. Finally, she hears footsteps. The gate buzzes and swings open. Standing before her is a tall man, maybe in his 30s. He's wearing expensive clothes. Everything about him screams wealth. But his eyes, my friends, his eyes look so sad. Like he's carrying a pain too heavy to bear. This is James. Though Emma doesn't know his name yet. Come in, James says quietly. Emma hesitates. Her mama always warned her never to go into strangers' houses. But something about this man feels safe. Lonely, but safe. I'll buy all your apples, James says, seeing her worry. You can stand right here by the gate if you're scared. All of them? Emma's eyes go wide. She has 20 apples. That's $6. More than she usually makes in 3 days. Yes, all of them. James pulls out his wallet, but then he stops. He looks at Emma more carefully. When did you last eat? Emma's stomach answers for her with a loud growl. Her cheeks burn with shame. James's face softens. Come inside. Let me get you something to eat first. Then I'll pay you for the apples. Emma knows she shouldn't. But she's so hungry it hurts. And his voice is kind, even though his eyes are sad. She nods and follows him through the gate. The garden is like paradise. Roses, lilies, flowers of every color. Everything is perfect. But still, that emptiness hangs in the air. James opens the front door and Emma gasps. The mansion is enormous. The ceiling is so high she has to tilt her head all the way back. Everything shines. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, furniture that looks like art. But the house feels cold. Not temperature cold. Lonely cold. Wait here, James says, pointing to a chair. I'll bring you some food. Emma sits down carefully, afraid her dirty clothes might ruin the expensive chair. Her eyes wander around the room, taking everything in. This is what being rich looks like. This man has everything money can buy. So why does he look so heartbroken? Then Emma sees it. On a small table near the staircase, there's a photograph in a beautiful gold frame. Emma stands up slowly and walks closer. Her hands start shaking as she picks up the frame. The woman in the photo is younger, healthier, smiling. She's wearing a blue dress, her long dark hair flowing over her shoulders. She's laughing at whoever took the picture, and her smile is so bright, so full of joy. Emma's heart starts pounding harder and harder. Because she knows that face. She sees it every single day. Even though the woman in the photo looks so different, so happy, Emma knows exactly who it is. It's her mama. It's Sarah. Emma's hands tremble as she holds the frame tighter. Questions flood her mind like a river bursting its banks. Why is Mama's photo in this rich stranger's house? Mama never mentioned knowing any rich people. In fact, Mama never talks about her life before Emma was born. Whenever Emma asks about her father or the old days, Mama goes quiet. Her eyes fill with sadness, and she changes the subject. Emma stands frozen, staring at the photograph. Her mind is spinning with questions she doesn't know how to ask. Then she hears footsteps behind her. Emma turns around quickly. James has returned, carrying a tray with sandwiches, cookies, and a tall glass of juice. But when he sees what Emma is holding, he stops dead. The tray shakes in his hands. His face goes completely white, like all the blood just drained out of it. For a long moment, nobody speaks. The silence in the big house feels heavier than before. That's my mama," Emma says softly, her voice barely a whisper. She holds up the frame. "Why is my mama's picture in your house?" James's mouth opens, but no words come out. He looks like someone just struck him with lightning. The tray shakes even more in his hands, and he quickly sets it down on a nearby table. Then he turns back to Emma, his eyes wide with shock. "You're your mother?" His voice cracks. "What's your mother's name?" "Sarah," Emma answers. "Her name is Sarah." James takes a step backward. His hand reaches for the wall to steady himself. His breathing becomes fast and shallow. He stares at Emma's face, studying her eyes, her nose, the shape of her face, like he's searching for something. "Sarah," he repeats, and the way he says her name sounds like a prayer. She's your mother?" Emma nods, confused and scared by the man's reaction. "Sir, are you okay? Do you know my mama?" James runs his hand through his hair. He walks to the nearest chair and sits down heavily, like his legs can't hold him anymore. "Know her?" he says quietly, more to himself than to Emma. Yes, I knew her. A long time ago." He looks up at Emma with eyes now shining with tears. "How old are you?" "I'm 9, sir. I'll be 10 in 3 months." James closes his eyes and takes a deep, shaking breath. His hands are trembling. Emma has never seen a grown man look so shaken before. "Where is your mother now?" James asks, opening his eyes again. There's something desperate in his voice. "Where is Sarah?" "She's at home, sir. In our apartment. She's very sick." Emma's own eyes start filling with tears. "That's why I'm selling apples. To buy her medicine. The doctor says she needs medicine that costs $30. "Take me to her," James interrupts suddenly, standing up. "Please, take me to your mother right now." Emma steps back, startled. "But, I don't understand. Why do you have her picture? How do you know my mama?" James looks at this little girl standing before him, clutching the photograph. He can see Sarah in her face. The same eyes. The same gentle expression. His heart is pounding so hard he thinks it might explode. "Emma," he says, trying to keep his voice steady even though everything inside him is shaking. "I need to ask you something very important." He pauses, afraid of the answer. Do you have a father?" Emma's face falls. It's the question she hates most in the world. The question that makes other kids tease her at school. The question that makes her feel incomplete. "No, sir," she says quietly, looking down at her shoes. "I don't have a dad. It's just me and Mama. It's always been just me and Mama." Something breaks inside James at those words. A sound comes from his throat, not quite a sob, but close. He covers his face with his hands, trying to control the flood of emotions. When he looks up again, his eyes are red and wet. "Emma," he says, his voice thick with emotion. I think I might know why your mother never told you about your father." He pauses, struggling. "But I need to see her. I need to talk to her. There are things that happened long ago that need to be explained." Emma is completely confused now. Nothing makes sense. Why is this rich stranger crying? Why does he care so much about her mother? "I don't understand," Emma says, her voice small and frightened. James kneels down so he's at eye level with Emma. Up close, she can see the tears running down his cheeks. "I know you don't understand," James says gently. "And I know this is confusing and scary. But please trust me. I would never hurt you or your mother. I need to see her." His voice breaks. "I've been looking for her for so many years, and now you found me." "You've been looking for my mama?" Emma asks, her eyes wide. "Yes," James whispers. "For 10 years. I've been looking for her. Emma's mind races. 10 years. She's 9 years old. That means he's been looking since before she was even born. Or maybe since right after she was born. A thought starts forming in Emma's head. A thought so big and so impossible that she almost doesn't dare think it. Sir, she says slowly, her voice shaking. Why? Why have you been looking for my mama for 10 years? James looks at her for a long moment. He wants to tell her the truth right then. He wants to say the words burning in his heart. But he can't. Not yet. Not until he's sure. Not until he's talked to Sarah. That's something I need to talk to your mother about first, he says quietly. But Emma, I promise you, everything is going to be okay. He pulls out his wallet and takes out several bills. He hands them to Emma. She looks down and gasps. There are 5 $20 bills. $100. This is too much, Emma says, trying to give it back. Keep it, James says firmly but kindly. Use it for your mother's medicine, for food, for whatever you both need. He pauses, looking at her with such intense emotion. Tell your mother that James wants to see her. Tell her I know she's alive now, and I'm not angry. Tell her I just want to talk. Emma runs all the way home, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and hope. The money is clutched tight in her hand, and her mind is spinning with questions. When she finally reaches their apartment building, a rundown place with peeling paint and creaking stairs, she rushes up to their room. Mama! Emma calls out, bursting through the door. Mama, you won't believe what happened. Their apartment is just one small room. There's a thin mattress on the floor where they both sleep, a tiny table with 2 chairs, and a hot plate for cooking. The walls are stained and cracked. This is all they have. Sarah is lying on the mattress, covered with their only blanket. When she hears Emma's voice, she tries to sit up, but the movement makes her cough. A deep, painful cough that shakes her whole body. Emma, Sarah says weakly when the coughing stops. You're back early. Did something happen? Emma kneels beside her mother and pulls out the money. Mama, look. A man bought all my apples and gave me this. $100. We can buy your medicine now. Sarah's eyes widen. What? Emma, that's too much. Did you steal this? No, Mama. I promise. A man gave it to me. A rich man who lives in a huge mansion. Emma stops, remembering the photograph. Her excitement fades. Mama, his name is James. The color drains from Sarah's face instantly. She looks like she's been struck by lightning. Her hand flies to her mouth, and her eyes go wide with shock and fear. What? Sarah whispers. What did you say? His name is James, Emma repeats. And Mama, he had your picture in his house. A picture of you when you were younger, smiling in a blue dress. Sarah starts shaking. Not from fever, but from pure terror. She grabs Emma's arms, her grip surprisingly strong. Emma, listen to me very carefully. What did you tell him? What did he say to you? He didn't hurt me, Mama. He was nice. He cried when I told him you were my mother. He said he's been looking for you for 10 years. Emma's voice becomes urgent. Mama, what's going on? How do you know him? Sarah lets go of Emma and covers her face with her hands. Her whole body is trembling. Oh no, she moans. Oh no. This can't be happening. He found us. After all this time, he found us. Mama, you're scaring me, Emma says, tears forming in her eyes. Why are you so afraid? James seemed like a good person. You don't understand, Sarah cries, then starts coughing again. When the coughing stops, tears are streaming down her face. Emma, we have to leave. We have to pack and leave this city tonight. What? Why? Emma is completely confused now. Sarah tries to stand but is too weak. She falls back onto the mattress, breathing hard. Because his family will never let us be together. Because they'll try to take you away from me. She breaks down sobbing. Because I've been hiding you from him for 9 years, and now that he knows about you, everything I did to protect us might not matter anymore. Emma sits beside her mother, her mind reeling. Protect us? From what? From who? Sarah looks at her daughter's confused face and realizes she can't run anymore. She's too sick, too weak, too tired. And maybe it's time for the truth. Emma, Sarah says softly, wiping her tears. I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. She takes a shaky breath. James is your father. Even though Emma had suspected it, hearing the words out loud makes them real. He's my dad, Emma whispers. Really? Yes, Sarah says, tears flowing freely. He's your father, and I loved him, Emma. I loved him so much. He was kind and gentle and good. Then why did you leave him? Emma asks, her voice breaking. Why didn't you tell him about me? Why have we been living like this when he has so much money? Sarah's face crumples with pain and regret. Because I had no choice. Because his mother, your grandmother, she's a powerful woman who didn't think I was good enough for her son. When she found out I was pregnant with you, she threatened me. Threatened you? How? Sarah closes her eyes, remembering. She came to me in the middle of the night with 2 big men. She told me that if I didn't disappear and never contact James again, she would make sure I went to prison. She said she would accuse me of stealing, and that she had enough money and power to make it happen. She said James would never believe me over his own mother. Emma's eyes fill with tears. That's horrible. She gave me $1,000 and told me to leave the city immediately, Sarah continues. She said if I ever tried to contact James or tell him about the baby, she would destroy me. Emma, I was so scared. I was just 20 years old, pregnant, with no family and no money. But why didn't you tell Dad the truth? Emma asks. I tried, Sarah sobs. I called him the next day from the bus station. But his mother answered. She told me James never wanted to see me again, that he knew I was just after his money. Then she hung up. Sarah clutches Emma's hand. I didn't know if it was true or if she was lying. But I was so young and so scared. So I got on that bus and left. I had you alone in another city. And I've been running ever since. Dad didn't know, Emma says slowly, understanding dawning. He didn't know about me. No, Sarah whispers. And I was too afraid to tell him. Emma throws her arms around her mother. They both cry together for the lost years, for the poverty, for the family that should have been. After a long moment, Emma pulls back. Mama, James said he's not angry. He wants to see you. He wants to talk. Sarah looks at the determination in her daughter's eyes. I don't know if I can face him. Yes, you can, Emma says with wisdom beyond her years. And Mama, we deserve to be happy. Don't we? The next morning, Sarah's hands shake as she stands in front of the pay phone in their building's lobby. Emma gave her the coins and James's phone number. Sarah stares at the phone for a long moment, her heart pounding. What if he's angry? Sarah whispers. He won't be, Emma says confidently. I promise, Mama. Sarah takes a deep breath and dials. The phone rings once, twice, 3 times. She almost hangs up. Then his voice comes through. Hello. Sarah's breath catches. After 10 years of silence, it's really him. James, she whispers. It's Sarah. Complete silence. Then she hears him take a sharp breath. Sarah, he says, and his voice is filled with so many emotions it makes Sarah's eyes fill with tears. Is it really you? Yes, she says. It's me. Where are you? James asks urgently. Are you okay? Emma said you were sick. James, please. I need to explain. You don't have to explain over the phone, James interrupts gently. Let me come see you. I need to know you're real. Sarah gives him the address, her voice barely audible. I'll be there in 20 minutes, James says. Sarah, thank you for calling. They go back upstairs. Sarah looks around their tiny room and feels shame wash over her. This is where she raised his daughter. This is what her fear brought them to. 20 minutes later, they hear footsteps on the stairs. Quick, urgent footsteps. A knock on the door makes them both jump. Sarah walks to the door and opens it. James stands in the doorway, breathing hard. His hair is messy, his shirt wrinkled, his eyes red. They stare at each other. 10 years. 10 years since they've seen each other's faces. Sarah, James whispers, and the way he says her name with such tenderness breaks something open inside both of them. Sarah starts crying. I'm so sorry. James, I'm so sorry for everything. James steps inside and pulls her into his arms. Sarah cries against his chest. Really cries for the first time in years. All the fear, all the guilt, all the loneliness pours out. Shoo, James murmurs, holding her tight. It's okay. You're safe now. After a long moment, Sarah pulls back. I have so much to explain. I know, James says gently. Then he looks over at Emma, who's watching from across the room. James walks over and kneels in front of her. Hello, Emma, he says softly. Hi, Emma says shyly. James's eyes fill with tears as he looks at her. He reaches out and gently touches her cheek. You're so beautiful, he whispers. You have your mother's eyes. And your nose, Emma says, trying to smile. Now I know where I got it from. James laughs through his tears. Then he pulls Emma into a hug and holds her tight, his shoulders shaking with sobs. I'm sorry I wasn't there, he cries. I'm sorry for everything. I know you didn't know, Emma says, hugging him back. It's not your fault. Over the next hour, Sarah tells James everything. About his mother's threats. About the phone call. About running away scared and alone. With each word, James's face grows darker with anger. My mother did this, he says, his voice tight with rage. My mother destroyed our lives. James, what will she do when she finds out about us? Sarah asks, fear in her voice. James takes both of Sarah's hands in his. Listen to me carefully. Nothing my mother says or does matters anymore. You are the woman I love. Emma is my daughter. You are my family. Do you understand? Nothing is more important to me than you two. Sarah stares at him, hardly believing. You still love me? I never stopped, James says simply. Not for one single day. That afternoon, James takes them to the hospital. The best hospital in Chicago. A kind doctor examines Sarah and runs tests. The diagnosis is serious but treatable. A severe infection that's gone too long without proper care. You'll need to stay here for at least a week, the doctor says. But you're going to be okay. James takes care of everything. The bills, the private room, everything. He stays with Emma while Sarah gets treatment, and for the first time, father and daughter really talk. They share stories, laugh together, and begin building the relationship they should have had all along. 3 days later, the DNA test results come back. James opens the envelope with trembling hands. He reads it, then looks up at Emma with the biggest smile. 99.9% match, he reads aloud. Emma, you are my daughter. Officially, scientifically, undeniably my daughter. Emma runs to him and they embrace, both crying happy tears. That evening, James makes a decision. He calls his mother. I need to see you, he says firmly. Today. It's important. When James arrives at his mother's mansion, he doesn't waste time. Where were you 10 years ago on the night Sarah disappeared? He demands. His mother, Catherine, tries to deny it at first. But James doesn't back down. Finally, she admits it. She threatened Sarah. She drove her away. She thought she was protecting her son. You didn't protect me, James says, his voice shaking with anger. You destroyed my life. You kept me from my daughter. Sarah was pregnant, Mother. She was carrying my child, and you threw her out like garbage. Catherine's face goes pale. I didn't know. That doesn't make it better, James says coldly. Here's what's going to happen. Sarah and Emma are my family now. They're going to live with me. And if you ever threaten them again, if you try to hurt them in any way, you will never see me or your granddaughter again. Do you understand? Catherine, for once in her life, has no words. She simply nods, tears in her eyes. I want to meet them, she finally says quietly. I want to try to make this right. James studies her carefully. We'll see. But Mother, you have a lot to prove. My friends, this is where our story finds its heart. Where broken pieces finally come together. A week later, Sarah is released from the hospital. She's healthier, stronger, with color back in her cheeks. James brings both Sarah and Emma to his mansion, but this time, they're not visitors. They're coming home. This is really going to be our home? Emma asks, staring up at the beautiful house. Our home, James confirms with a smile. Emma runs through the house, exploring every room. She chooses a bedroom on the second floor with big windows overlooking the garden. This one, she says with certainty. This is perfect. Then it's yours, James says. Tomorrow we'll go shopping. You can pick out everything. Furniture, decorations, whatever you want. That night, they order pizza and eat it sitting on the living room floor, laughing and talking. They're weaving their separate stories into one shared family history. After Emma falls asleep in her new room, James and Sarah sit together in the garden under the stars. I still can't believe this is real, Sarah says softly. James takes her hand. Sarah, will you forgive me? For not finding you sooner? For not being there when you needed me? There's nothing to forgive, Sarah says, taking his face in her hands. None of this was your fault. James pulls out a small box from his pocket. Inside is a ring. A beautiful, simple diamond ring. 10 years ago, I was going to ask you something. I bought this ring and kept it all these years, hoping somehow I'd get another chance. Sarah's hand flies to her mouth. Sarah, James says, his voice thick with emotion. I've loved you for 10 years, and I'll love you for 10,000 more. Will you marry me? Yes, Sarah whispers through her tears. Yes, James. Yes. He slips the ring onto her finger. It fits perfectly, just as it was meant to all those years ago. They kiss under the stars, finally together after so much time apart. 2 weeks later comes the meeting everyone's been nervous about. Catherine arrives at the mansion to meet Sarah and Emma. When she walks in, Sarah instinctively moves closer to James. But Catherine surprises them all. "Sarah," Catherine says, her voice formal but genuine. "I owe you an apology. What I did to you 10 years ago was wrong. I threatened you. I frightened you. I drove you away. I thought I was protecting my son, but I was wrong. I hurt all three of you. And for that, I am truly sorry." Sarah doesn't know what to say. She had expected cruelty, not remorse. "I don't expect forgiveness," Catherine continues. "But I want to ask if, in time, you might allow me to be part of Emma's life. To try to be the grandmother she deserves." Sarah looks at Emma, then at James. Finally, she speaks. "I can't forget what you did. And I'm not ready to forgive you yet. But I believe people can change. So if you truly mean what you say, we can try." Slowly, Catherine's eyes grow shiny with real tears. "Thank you," she whispers. "That's more than I deserve." She turns to Emma. "May I sit and talk with you?" Emma looks at her parents, and they both nod. "Okay," Emma says. Carefully, slowly, Catherine and Emma begin to talk. Catherine asks about school, about Emma's interests, about her dreams. She listens, really listens. And as the conversation goes on, something begins to shift. The ice around Catherine's heart starts to melt. The weeks turn into months. Life in the mansion becomes filled with warmth and laughter. Emma starts at a good school and makes friends. Sarah's health continues to improve. James has never been happier. The cold, empty mansion becomes a real home. Catherine keeps her word. She visits once a week, always respectful, never overstepping. She brings Emma thoughtful gifts, not expensive ones meant to buy affection, but meaningful ones that show she's paying attention. Slowly, the wounds begin to heal. 1 month after James proposed, they hold a small wedding in the mansion's garden. Emma is the flower girl, wearing a beautiful dress and carrying a basket of rose petals. Close friends attend. Even Catherine is there, sitting quietly, crying softly through the ceremony. When James and Sarah exchange vows, there's not a dry eye in the garden. "I've loved you for 10 years, James says. "And I'll love you for the rest of my life." "You are my home," Sarah replies. "You and Emma. You always were." They kiss and Emma cheers and everyone claps. It's a small wedding, but it's perfect. Years pass. Emma grows up surrounded by love. She never forgets the hard times, the tiny apartment, the days of selling apples. Those memories make her kind and compassionate. She never takes her blessings for granted. James and Sarah's love only grows stronger. They weathered the worst storm imaginable and came through it together. Nothing can shake them now. Even Catherine changes. She learns that control isn't love. She learns that sometimes letting go is the greatest gift you can give someone. The photograph that started it all still sits on the table by the staircase. But now beside it is another photo, showing James, Sarah, and Emma together, smiling, complete at last. My friends, this story teaches us something important. It teaches us that love is patient. Love is resilient. When love is real, it doesn't give up. It waits through the long years. It endures through separation and pain. And when the time is right, when a little girl knocks on a stranger's door selling apples, love finds its way back home. Because sometimes the most ordinary moments, like selling fruit on a hot summer day, can become the doorway to the most extraordinary blessings. And that, my friends, is a truth worth remembering. The end.